Coming up on AC 24/7, life in prison for the gunman convicted in the deadly shooting at Stoneman Douglas High School in 2018. Reactions from family and loved ones after the jury spare him the death penalty. Plus, public outrage leads to a resignation in Los Angeles City Council, while 2 others are being urged to follow suit. Plus, a warning from the medical community. Aggressive form of breast cancer that mimics breast infections. We'll take a look at some of the life-saving signs and symptoms. Welcome to AC 24/7. I'm Stephen Walker. The gunman behind the shooting that killed 18 students in Parkland, Florida, will spend the rest of his life behind bars. His jury reached a verdict following a 3-month-long trial, life without possibility of parole. Family members expressed anger and disappointment following the verdict. The Advocate Channel's Mike Valerio has reactions from the courtroom.
Tears are shed, hands held tight.
We, the jury, unanimously find that the state has established beyond a reasonable doubt the existence of the aggravating factor Nicholas Cruz knowingly created a great risk of death to many persons. Yes.
Only a judge's voice cuts through the silence in a Florida courtroom as she reads aloud a jury's recommended sentences to Parkland school shooter Nicholas Cruz.
We, the jury, unanimously find that the aggravating factors that were proven beyond a reasonable doubt outweigh the mitigating circumstances established. No.
Cruz is now set to be formally sentenced November 1st after pleading guilty last October to 17 counts of murder and 17 counts of attempted murder for killing 14 students and 3 school staff members in a shooting rampage at Florida's Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in February 2018.
I pray that animal suffers every day of his life in jail.
Some victims' family members showing clear frustration as life sentence after life sentence is recommended, and Cruz avoids a death sentence.
I sent my daughter to school and she was shot 8 times. I am so beyond disappointed and frustrated with this outcome. I do not understand. I just don't understand this.
You set a precedent for the next mass killing, and nothing happens to you. You'll get life in jail.
I'm Mike Valerio reporting.
Cruz will be formally sentenced on November 1st. Alex Jones will pay nearly $1 billion to the families of Sandy Hook victims. It's the latest legal win for those suing Jones over his lies about the school massacre. The Advocate Channel's Alexandra Field has more.
Her damages past and future.
After nearly a decade of profound and excruciating suffering, a jury awarding nearly $1 billion to the families of 8 victims killed at Sandy Hook Elementary School and an FBI agent who responded to the scene of the massacre.
Today, a jury representing our community and our nation rendered a historic verdict. A verdict against Alex Jones's lies and their poisonous spread, and a verdict for truth and for our common humanity.
The money, compensatory damages, not for the brutal loss of their loved ones, but for the lies that followed, spread by InfoWars host Alex Jones, who called the massacre a hoax, its victims crisis actors.
I know that this is not the end of Alex Jones in my life. I know that his hate, lies, and conspiracy theories will follow both me and my family through the rest of our days. But I'm also hopeful for what happened here today, that it may save other families from high-profile tragedies from the cycle of abuse and re-traumatization.
The plaintiffs holding hands, comforting one another, and weeping while the judge read the jury's decisions. Each of them rewarded tens of millions of dollars. The largest award of $120 million to Robbie Parker, the father of a 6-year-old girl, Emily, killed at Sandy Hook. He had testified to the pain he and others endured from lies believed by so many.
And I was especially starting to feel like I was failing her in her death, because of what people were saying about her and what they were saying about me trying to remember her.
the jury's award as close to a win as any these families could have.
All I can really say is that I'm just proud that what we were able to accomplish was just to simply tell the truth. And it shouldn't be this hard, and it shouldn't be this scary.
Jones was not present in the courtroom for the reading of the verdict. He never testified in his own defense during the course of the nearly month-long trial, but he made fiery statements during a cross-examination.
And I don't apologize for it.
His attorney says Jones and his company Free Speech Systems will appeal the jury's decision. Jones, who has derided much of the legal process, calling the trial a kangaroo court, was back on the airwaves, where he mocked the decision and used it to fundraise.
Jones also said on his program he does not have the money to pay the judgment. An LA County City Councilor has resigned after they were caught making racist statements. Nori Martinez is one of the 3 city councillors caught on tape making crude and racist comments with other Latin political leaders. Martinez served on the council for nearly a decade. She said she would be stepping down with a broken heart in a lengthy statement. President Biden and many LA County residents have called for all 3 council members to resign. Stanford University is apologizing for limiting the admission of Jewish students in the 1950s. A task force appointed by the school's president reportedly cited a memo from 1953, where the administration expressed concerns about the amount of Jewish students being admitted. It is unclear how long the policy was in place, but the task force recommends the university address the bias as well as recommending more attention to the Jewish demographic on campus. Former President Barack Obama is hitting the campaign trail ahead of the November midterms. The former president is taking a limited and careful approach to this year and may only make a handful of appearances. Obama's staff is coordinating with the Democratic National Committee and with the White House. Obama has reportedly warned his people that his presence on the campaign trail can engage his supporters but also fire up GOP opposition. 2 weeks after the election, Obama will hold a Democratic forum. It's a rare but highly aggressive form of breast cancer that often mimics symptoms of breast infection, and many may not even know the subtle signs. The Advocate Channel's Mandy Gaither has more on what one patient says she wished she knew before being diagnosed with inflammatory breast cancer.
When Lisa Overholzer started feeling pain near her left shoulder blade that shot to her shoulder and down her arm, she went to a doctor thinking she'd pinched a nerve.
The pain was just so unrelenting.
After a CT scan, Overholzer found out she had inflammatory breast cancer.
I know the quicker we find something, the easier it is to treat. And they're already talking stage 3 or stage 4. And at that moment, truly, I felt like your time's about done.
This rare but aggressive form of the disease has signs that can be subtle, including swelling of the skin on and around the breast, infection like redness, an orange peel-like texture or dimpling of skin, changes in the nipple area, a feeling of heaviness in the breast or tightening of the skin, and breast engorgement.
I have over a 30-year history in the healthcare professions. I'm a physical therapist assistant. But you know what? I still didn't know.
Overholzer surgical oncologist Dr. Ko-Un Clara Park says this form of cancer is often misdiagnosed as a breast infection.
The most important thing for patients is if they experience a change in their breast, then they seek care with their providers and to obtain a mammogram to make sure that they are not missing something.
After treatment, Overholzer says her cancer isn't growing.
Every day is a good day. I just think a bad day is a real big waste of time, and I don't want to waste any of it.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Thank you for joining us for AC 24/7. For content that advocates for you, go to advocatechannel.com, follow us on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook, and subscribe on YouTube. For the Advocate Channel, I'm Stephen Walker.